Reverend A.R. Burns came to Hammond, Indiana from Enterprise, Mississippi in 1944. He made the decision to leave Mississippi to find a better way of life for his wife of 8 years, Mary E. Burns, and his 4 children. This was a tumultuous era where Jim Crow, segregation, and racial tensions were at the height of their existence. Reverend Burns left from work one day, devastated by the lynchings of 2 young preteen boys. The boys' lifeless bodies hung from the bridge for all to see and to send a hateful message to other blacks in the area. Distraught and emotionally distressed, he feared for the lives of his wife and children. He then made the decision to move north for safety reasons and for a better existence for his family. The lynched boys asked a simple question to a white woman, and it cost them their lives. Whites in the area retained their plantation master attitudes by punishing those who were no longer their slaves for menial infractions, in some cases with their lives. Reverend Burns sent letters stating that he wanted to move north to relatives in Detroit, Hammond, and East Chicago. He made an agreement with God that the first person that responded would be the destination of their exodus. Hammond, Indiana won the agreement. Reverend Burns departed for Hammond and scouted the area for employment and living arrangements 7 months before giving his family the okay to join him. As his wife and children traveled by train, all of the black people on board were required to sit in the colored section because of Jim Crow laws. They traveled with constant fear and anxiety because white hatred permeated the air until they crossed the Mason-Dixon line. After that point, the conductor informed them that they could sit wherever they chose. Their tensions dissipated as they traveled beyond this point where the racial environment felt somewhat safer. Although racial tensions in the North persisted, the occurrences and magnitude of events were less dramatic than those experienced in the South. Reverend Burns was a chosen disciple who in 1945 was called to pastor Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church in East Hammond. His dedication led him to help build a new location of the church where it currently stands. The Reverend became a devoted mover and shaker by uplifting the members of his community socially, politically, and spiritually. He became the only member of the Hammond Ministerial Alliance, where they helped him to abolish the racially biased contracts and policies of refusing to sell homes to blacks in the designated areas. After this monumental change, more black citizens experienced the American dream of home ownership. Reverend Burns extended his reach by working with financial institutions to help black people secure mortgages. He was responsible in part for black citizens gaining the right and privilege to be buried in cemeteries in Hammond where it was forbidden for blacks to rest. On many social fronts, Reverend Burns helped East Hammond citizens break ground in many aspects of life that blacks were not included. He served as inspiration in not only the community, but also to his children, where he instilled the rebellious seed to fight for justice and equality. His daughter, Annie Burns Hicks, had to win a federal court case to become the first black teacher to receive a job in Hammond. She was assigned to Maywood Elementary School, where she was awarded the first teaching assignment in 1960. Reverend Burns' reach extended far beyond Hammond to Washington, D.C., where he was accompanied by Reverend Willard Macy to support Dr. Martin Luther King during his 1969 I Have a Dream speech. His passion to better the lives of all black citizens in East Hammond and around the world drove him to march from Selma, Alabama, and Montgomery for social justice for all black people. Reverend Burns' accomplishments were vast and many. They ranged from comforting the sick and shut-in to building a multi-million-dollar senior citizen living facility on Kenwood Street. His philosophy of doing all things through Christ that strengthens us manifested itself with the A.R. Burns Mount Zion Pleasant View Plaza. On October 23, 1999, Reverend A.R. Burns transitioned, but left our East Hammond citizens with the fruits of his dream. He left the city and all citizens with a better way of life and mindset than he had while starting off from Enterprise, Mississippi. We salute Reverend A.R. Burns as an East Hammond mover and shaker.